So the annual Apple event just finished up, so here's a summary of all the dope stuff getting released in under 2 minutes. So first, of course, we have the new iPhones, the most notable of which being the 14 Pro, which brings 3 new features. The first of which being this new dynamic notch cutout they have here. This new notch is just going to blend into your screen better and be a lot more immersive with little notifications and things like this. Here's another example of how it's just going to be kind of hidden away and never seen. The second one, and this is actually a pretty big one, the iPhone's now going to be able to connect to satellites for emergency notifications and calls. This is a huge deal if you spend a lot of time off the grid or a place where you don't have data. This is going to make sure no matter where you are, you'll have a way to contact your family or authorities to make sure you're safe. This feature isn't very glamorous, but the fact that it's there could one day possibly save your life. Lastly, and this one's kind of cool, it's going to have an always-on display. They're totally reworking the homepage so you have extra notifications and widgets here, and this display is always going to be on, so no matter where your phone is, you can be able to check it and look at the time without touching it and waking it up. Pretty cool. It also comes with all the classic iPhone upgrades, better screen, better battery time, blah, blah, blah. There's also the regular iPhone 14, which doesn't have all those fancy features and is just a regular upgrade. Next is there's a new Apple Watch called the Ultra, which is a very kind of extreme sports, rugged, focused version of the Apple Watch. You'll see here the body's a little bit different, it's a little bit more boxy, screen's a little bit bigger, and it has this third button here on the side. That third button is totally programmable for more activity-focused stuff, like maybe timing laps when you're running or starting and stopping workouts. You can see here in another picture, this thing is definitely a lot more boxy and utilitarian design. Also comes with a bunch of new straps that are meant to be super rugged and perform well underwater. Aside from that, you get the classic brighter screen, longer battery life, blah, blah. This new Ultra is pretty pricey though, starting around $800. Other than that, there's the Apple Watch Series 8 that came out, which is just like the regular Apple Watch with upgraded specs, nothing huge to note here. Lastly, we have the AirPods Pro 2, which come with all the standard upgrade features, better sound, better noise canceling, better battery life, blah, blah, but there's a few other new features that make them kind of interesting. The main reason and the reason why I'll be picking these up is the new Find My capabilities. They now have an external speaker and now integrate perfectly like an Apple AirTag, so no matter where they are, if you lose them like I do all the time, you can ping them, they'll make a noise, and you can go find them in a second no matter where they are. A few other great quality of life changes, they now charge on an Apple Watch charger, and they have a little lanyard port, which is kind of cool. Anyway, that's all the new Apple stuff. Hope that helped. Bye. So I recently got a new PC, which I absolutely love, and part of that was moving it from the ground down there up onto the desk, which I like a lot. The only problem with that is my cable management is now an absolute nightmare. I know it doesn't look like it, but let me show you. Isn't that just the worst thing you've ever seen? So because the PC's up here now, I no longer need really any cables down here on the ground. All I need is a power cable and an internet cable going up to the top here, and the rest of the cables can be hidden underneath the desk. I'm gonna put both those cables in this nice little cable sheath I have here, so everything's totally hidden. Let's first get all this stuff out of here. All right, all cleaned out now. All we have is the power cable for the monitor, computer, and the standing desk left. We're just gonna leave those there for now. So after tearing it all apart, these are all the cables that I now have to find a new home for underneath my desk. And to do that, I got this cheap cable channel thing from Amazon. It like sticks up under your desk with double-sided tape, and then you stick all the cables kind of in here. The only problem is it's too long. I want it to fit in this space here, and there's kind of like this thing blocking it. So I'm gonna need to cut it. And when I ordered it, I thought it'd be like a soft plastic, but it's actually really hard, so we're gonna bring out the heavies. Why is this so hard? Nice. All right, we got her cut out. We got some double-sided tape on the top of it, as well as on our little switch box, which are both gonna get mounted underneath the desk so we can start shoving the cables. So we got this bad boy mounted underneath the desk, ready to have cables put inside it. Anyway, I'm gonna get all the cables set up, and I'll see you on the other side. And just like that, all the cables are underneath the desk here. All we have to do is put this cable sheath here on these cables that run down to the outlet, and then we're done. This cable sheath thing is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. I got it for like $3 at the dollar store. It comes with this install thing that you clip onto the cables here. Then all you do is you put the sheath on this thing, and you slide this thing down, and it like automatically zippers up all your cables in this one like clean sheath. Isn't that so dope? Now we've got all the cables that we need from the desk coming down in one pretty cable. We're just gonna plug all these into the power bar. And just like that, it's 100 times cleaner. All this is gonna be covered up by this shelf anyway. Now all we gotta do is hide away these monitor wires, and we're done. And just like that, all the cables are now 100% hidden. Even if we want to use the standing desk, it's just the one cable that gets shown, not a big mess like you normally have in the standing desk situation. Of course, it's wired up perfectly to work with my Windows PC for gaming and editing. Or I could use my MacBook just by plugging in this one single cable and having all the peripherals automatically switch over so I could use it seamlessly. Anyway, all done. Thanks for hanging out with me while I manage my cables. Catch you in the next video. Bye.